Hello everybody, this is Jacqueline Chang reporting for Minecraft News. We just had a talk with John about the crazy weather we will have today, but now we are going to talk about a novel that has sparked a lot of conversation. This novel is called A Long Walk to Water by Linda Sue Park, a book that many have enjoyed, including myself. But let's hop into a quick summary about this book so we can continue our conversation. Could you imagine escaping your country to find refuge elsewhere because of a war? Having endless days of walking through deserts or not having food for days? Or could you imagine having to walk daily for half a day just to get yourself and your family some water? Well, by reading the book Long Walk to Water, you can see the adventures of first Salva as he escapes Sudan, goes to different countries and finds his way through many tough obstacles and succeeds by coming to America and then helping his people back in Sudan and other villages. Or you can see the adventures of Naya as she helped readers see the struggle it was for her people to get water and how her village was able to move forward and develop by starting to build a school and a well by the help of someone. However, don't leave this book off your reading list as we see many twists on how both Salva and Naya end up meeting. Well, I hope this summary has provided a good amount of information to those who haven't read it, and maybe even an interest to read it. I think it is a really good eye-opener book for everybody to read, so if you're considering it, go ahead and go to the store and buy this book right now. Continuing on, watch out because there's going to be some spoilers in this part, but I am going to talk about my personal feelings on this book and review this book for everybody and see if it can start some discussion and see if we have some shared ideas. Well, first, one thing about this book that surprised a lot of people, including myself, is when Salva was in Ethiopia. There was thousands of people there that almost couldn't fit in the refugee camp, and after a couple of years being there, they were kicked out because the government collapsed in Ethiopia. And we see this happening and we see how harsh everything is. Ethiopia kicking everybody out by armed forces and kicking them out completely, making sure that they leave the country. And they do it in such a harsh way by putting them and pushing them towards a river that has alligators in it, knowing that they can die, and a lot of people actually did die. And again, I was surprised as Salva survived this situation, and Salva was almost saved in some parts because he was under the water, because even the armed forces were shooting at the people so they could leave. And this is one big thing that a lot of people, like I said, were surprised about. And I was also really surprised about this because even though I know about the situation between South and North Sudan, I didn't understand some personal information that a lot of people shared, like Salva himself with this book. And I haven't seen any personal perspectives, so seeing it was really eye-opening and really interesting to see. Another big topic is the inspiration that this book gave to people, and personally, I got inspired to notice how much an event can cause change. One war can cause change for other countries around the world, or a government collapsing can cause the suffering of thousands of people. And this is a big thing that I realized throughout the book, that just one little thing can change everything. So a lot of people notice that too, and I think it has inspired a lot of people, and including myself, to notice that a lot of us are lucky that these events aren't happening in our country, or that these events aren't common. So it's just really nice to see another perspective and learn about different things around the world. However, one thing that I think that this book lacked was more context about each situation happening, like why did Ethiopia's government collapse, or what exactly was happening during the Sudan war, because we get vague explanations, but to people that don't really know what is happening or don't really know about that situation at all, it's confusing to them. And if it had more context, it would be really a good opportunity for people to learn more about it. However, again, I think it had a good amount of information, but just not enough. I also think that this book really was moving towards people's feelings, especially mine, while reading, because I got a sense of empathy that I've never felt, because I've never read a personal perspective about this. And I also think that I got angry, I got upset at certain things that were happening because I felt like they were unfair. And if people read this more, they could relate to this. And I also got excited as Salva was given more opportunities and Naya was having a school built in her village. So all of these created a lot of emotion, especially since it was a true story. It was really heart touching because you know this actually happened and you get really happy to see the end result of the book. And the final thing that I think would really encourage people to buy this book or read the book is how compelling it is, because it is a personal narrative and you see the personal perspective of Salva and Naya through their whole life and experience through that war and through their lives almost. You see how Salva grew up from a little boy to a man and how he helps his village and returns to help his people. And you see how Naya's village is growing and developing. And just seeing these personal perspectives were really nice to see, because you want to know what happens next. You want to see if there's a good end result or if something bad happens. So that was the biggest thing that made this book compelling for me. Well, that concludes the discussion about A Long Walk to Water. And hopefully we can have more discussions about different novels that are on a rise of fame. So make sure to go check that book out if you haven't already, and have an amazing day.